Hello people, this is Ryder here to review the Kamen Geats DX Boost Mark 9 Race Buckle. So in the first time ever, we are actually covering the final form item within this lineage of reviews. Within this batch of reviews, because I actually got it in time. So yeah, this is different compared to like Ghost, obviously. But obviously this is our final form item of the Geats toy line. Obviously here is Geats 9, the final form of Kamen Rider Geats. To which the form before then, as you can see from here, you can go from Geats Mark 3, Boost Mark 3, to Geats 9 via Mark 9 and such. You can see the desire drive right there. A render, CGI render of Boost Mark 9, Geats 9. This is actually really neat. They actually went through the effort of making this white just so that it actually blends through. That's actually really interesting. So yeah, they're actually both, so basically together they're Boost Mark 9, but they actually are acknowledged as separate entities, so that's actually neat. Because if we look through the contents, they just state them as one entire whole, but the QR code for the PDF file, something's gonna fall. And then something's gonna fall. The back, which is just a basic overview of the toy. So here's the Boost Mark 3 race buckle, I'll call it. So first of all, it's actually nice it can like actually sit on its own. You don't have to do this. Like, it still would stand, but you know, it's definitely neat it could do this. But overall, with Boost Mark 3, this is a nice back to form design of Boost, as it's basically, it takes again the same design silhouette of Boost Mark 1 technically, but in a newer, thicker color scheme, as now it's mainly white with this candy red, I will call it, and such, which I definitely like overall, and such. I think this one's a definite step up from Boost Mark 2, even though Boost Mark 2 does a good job at carrying over some of the same attributes of Boost Mark 1. I do like this one does evolve from, again, Boost Mark 1. It would have been neat if there was something of Boost Mark 2 carried over, but oh well. So we still have the spinometer at this corner and such, and then we get the exhaust pipes like so. We get our handle, to which this one is definitely I would definitely say it's the lightest one, just due to the fact, sadly, the case of this one is that nothing opens up within this mode, which is, it is unfortunate. I get why they do it, but it just kind of sucks. Boost Mark 3 doesn't have anything special on its own, and yeah, basically it's just a lot of white. And as you can tell from here, this one still doesn't have that buckle cover on the top, sadly, but again, it's kind of understandable. As you can see from the back here, it's simply red. Again, this part is hollow and such. And then, as you can see, 061. As you can see, that switch. And there's no QR code from here. So if we actually do split it off, because we're going to need to do that, this is technically, I guess, considered, again, like, I think they want you to consider when these are combined as Boost Mark 9, and then this part is only specifically Boost Mark III, which, as you can definitely tell, this is definitely a lot flatter, because obviously this one only has the clips and such, and as you can see, some stuff whenever just the tails and such. And then you can see there's a button right here, and that's just due to whenever we actually can revolve on, as you can see, this kitsune mask flips up and has a caution and such. So this is technically the basis of Boost Mark III and such, which definitely makes it technically the simplest of the lineage. But I mean, I think it's fine and such, especially because I think I kind of prefer it being back to form than what Boost Mark II was and such. And speaking of that, here is the Boost Mark IX buckle. As you can see from here, when you turn this around, you have the pull tab, obviously. The track 075, yet again, from the Laser Raise Riser. And then the QR code for nothing. And then this one's actually neat because while you do have this button here for the Desire Driver, they actually gave you this mechanism of when you flip the foot down, it actually opens up, and that's just due to if you were to mess up folding this up, like if you were to fold that down, you can't fold the handle in. So they gave you this mechanism, which is really helpful and such. But yeah, this is Boost Mark IX completely folded out with, I do like how it tries to mirror the Boost Mark III side. I'm still not really too big on the handle. I get that they can't make it twist because there's just no way of doing that. Like, it is a new way of, like, activating, like, something within the Desire Driver, because you never had to switch something back, but I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of stocky, I guess. Just because it's like, I don't know. I think it would have been... I kind of wish there was a way that they still incorporated the twisting, just so then you can, like, twist on both sides. But I get that, like, this is just the easiest way of achieving that. And again, this button allows it to do that. So I'll fold it back in. The speaker is right here and such. So we'll pull this out, or pull the pull tab out, and then immediately connect. Actually, show this off when you actually just, because this is basically the only sound it has to itself when you activate it. And that's for, like, other stuff. But if you were to combine it with Mark III, so you want to make sure that obviously these clips align, and as you can tell from this clip right here, it has this little peg down there, so then it hits this button like so. So you want to clip it in like so. And now we're technically in Mark III mode and such. To which, after that, we actually don't get anything, even if you were to press this back. Because this is actually the first Final Form toy since the Kiwami Loxy to not actually have character phrases. Which I don't mind personally, just because... where would you have incorporated them? Yeah, they probably could have incorporated it by this button, but then again, it just would have been awkward. So I get that it was probably just for the best just to omit it, personally. And, I don't think we're losing anything, especially because of what the vast majority of the memorial items that have been out recently. So, like, phrases within Final Form items kind of had lost their touch a bit, especially because, like, even though in some cases That'll be like the only time we'll get stuff corresponding to the final form within an item. You know, it's not like it's a missed opportunity, basically. So let's use this thing within the Desire driver. I did have to replace the batteries within here because I think they died after filming a demo or in a demo. But I'll just talk about how you should handle Mark III, because if you just hold it from here, it's heavy and a floppy mess. So I just recommend for you just to hold it from like here, so then you actually have stability on handling it and such. Anyways, slide in like so. I apologize, you can barely see the LED because the green is really trying to like emit itself, but it's just not bright enough. Again, just rev it. So now we are transferring to Mark III, where we get the basic boost mechanisms. As you can tell, when it actually lights up other colors besides green, it actually shines through, but not when you try to like just use the boost colors. Speaking of that, boost time. And then, luckily, because it's not Boost Mark II, we can actually go back into using our standard raised buckles. If we can actually line it up. I don't know what happened. So now we're Geats Geats Magnum Boost Mark III, which I'm pretty sure can't actually work. Just due to Mark III being a retooling of Mark I, just due to the nature of Geats 9. Obviously this will still not work because I literally forgot to compare these two buckles. Obviously you can, I still think Boost Mark 1 is probably the best one, but I at least appreciate that, like, you know, this one's at least closely enough. Like, I still at least do appreciate, though, that, like, Mark II still at least carries, again, like, the chrome aspect and, like, the color scheme of Mark 1. But then I think this one does a good job at having the same silhouette again. You can obviously pair Mark 1 and 3 up, but it's just obviously just due to how it's programmed. It's just going to do, you know, play this sound first and then Mark 1. So, I actually wanted to keep it that way, but then I struggled with that in the demo. I think that's basically it, because basically now, obviously you can still do all the boost forms and such, including Monster. So, anyways, to transform into, not Mark 9, Geats 9, you want to pull off the Mark 9 buckle, like so. I recommend just, like, probably trying to just pull it off from the two tails like so. So then this standby will start, to which then you just slot it into the left slot like so. So we'll do that, and then this standby will start. So then we will need to revolve on, and I have to say this, revolve on lightly. So as you can see, both sides are a green LED, and then just simply press this back once to complete the transformation. So as you can see, the reason why they chose the Laser Rays Riser track yet again is just so then you can actually have the two green LEDs become red and such, obviously. And overall, I've been forgetting to talk about just like the overall looks of like the buckles on the drivers and such, because I feel like the one I did that to the most was Laser Boost. But yeah, honestly, this is such a nice like looking silhouette, not silhouette, but this is just really nice to see overall on this belt, because I really do like just looking at this from above. It is like really like simple and such. I just really like how they really went with like trying to like cover the driver and such, because this is what, like, again, I just feel like this is what the Geats toy line does the best within the desired driver, when the belts actually do change the form of the driver and such, which is why I feel like I don't know, I just feel like it is kind of like a missed opportunity with this toy line. But I really do like that. Again, they just went with the nine-tail fox thing within this belt and such, and just overall, like, I don't know, it's pretty dumb to do, but it's just fun to like just make it waddle around and such. Like, I think technically the only thing that I guess could gripe someone is the orientation of the core ID, because you can clearly tell that it's upside down. Like, I really do like the fact that like this buckle interacts with the core ID in a way to like heavily signify, like, this is basically showing it being upgraded to a kitsune and such. But yeah, we do have standard finishers, so if we just pull this back once. This basically functions like a typical boost buckle, meaning if we were to pull this back twice, waiting for the lights. We get this new boost time standby. And then just simply pull it back once or twice. Yeah, that's basically it. So before you actually like form this back, you would like, I would recommend again just to revolve on. Now as you can see, now it's red just because you've already transformed. And then just simply form these back like so. Just because you don't want to revolve, like you don't want to fold these in and revolve on, because obviously it's going to reset and such. This time, let's show a transformation straight into Mark 9, or Geats 9, which is basically just inserting both of these in at the same time. And I say to like make sure to revolve on lightly, and that's just due to because sometimes this, like, the lever comes out really quickly to the point it accidentally hits this button, which will then not, which will then cause it when you revolve on to actually activate, which is why the LEDs will become red. And obviously when you turn this, it will just do that perfectly. And then just to show this too, you can press this twice when you do the finisher, like when you do transform. So I really do like that this does work like a typical boost buckle, even if I'm kind of bothered that you have to like hold it back and such. Like I at least do like they try to at least mirror it, even if it's clearly obvious that this one is a lot more in scale to this one and such. But I get it, like there's just not a possible, I don't think there's just a possible way of, I guess, mirroring that and such. But we will just focus on the boost finishers because they're kind of typical. And then boost time. Yeah, just basically all of that stuff. And then just simply click it back in like so, and then have that. My Boost Mark 9 has an issue with this button. This button gets stuck, so sometimes it doesn't even know it's ejected or it's like heavily delayed. Like right now it's fine, but like, because obviously when you let go it's obviously supposed to stop, but sometimes, like as you saw when you try to click it in, it doesn't do that because it still thinks it's in the desire driver, to the point sometimes when I pull it out, like if I'm doing dynamic boost time and I pull it out, it will still play the standby just because this button gets stuck. So I might have to like, it's doing fine right now, but I might have to open it up just to like loosen it up a bit and such. Basically, we will actually kind of hold off showing this in here just for the next review, but we will show off the vision driver, so I'll actually separate them and such. So if we were to use Mark III, I'll just transform right away, because no, you don't. And then so yeah, this one, I know this is why I should have actually shown Boost Mark 1 and 2 beforehand, just so then you guys can actually see the evolution of the boost buckle within here, because I think it's actually cool. And then using this one is pretty expected. Yep, no reaction. So Let's fold everything back in. Never mind. I was gonna show it when you first have it, when like before you actually transform, but just watch the demo. But yeah, overall, my thoughts on this raised buckle. I do think it's pretty neat. Like, I think just overall, like, it kind of carries over what Gifford Rex does. Like, I know that we haven't covered that. Like, that's the sad fact. We haven't even covered Gifford Rex, and yet we're covering Geats 9. Within the next month, obviously, you should see that I will cover Gifford Rex. But, I think this is a pretty nice, like, race book overall. I like that this kind of company, I mean, I don't want to say necessarily, like, is like a full circle on things and like this like embodies like what the toy line is. I just think it does a good job at like like in a retail scheme of things, it does a good job at like just fully like going not full circle, but just I guess commits to like the modular idea and such. I don't know. Like I know like well I mean I think most people aren't bothered by the fact there's no character phrases and such, but like basically if you wanted that, the spider phone exists, even though it's not up to date phrases. But I mean they're the core of them. So yeah. And just I think I appreciate that they found a way of incorporating Mark III, even if it's sadly not as up. It's not like a step up from Mark II and such, because I think that's what most people probably would have wanted, or at least I guess in my standpoint, like I would have liked to see an evolution and such. Because I guess that's I don't want to say that's technically like a gripe that like Mark III and slash Geats 9 don't really carry anything from Mark II to say. Because, I mean, I'm glad that, because I understand like Mark II's whole purpose was to embody, again, mostly like, it was still like Fox heavy, but it like, well, I mean, I think that's probably, because I think a Kitsune is supposed to be a a QB is supposed to be a completely different being from a fox. So, well, I mean, QB is just a nine-tailed fox. But I mean, like, obviously, Mark II was supposed to just be like traditional fox stuff, but like, you know, more grounded fox stuff. But like Mark III slash 9 are supposed to be more mythical fox and like going into like the nine-tailed fox thing. So I think that's kind of like neat of just how both of those forms kind of came through and such. I think I'm more into Mark 3 and 9, but I don't know. Cuz again, I feel like both forms had their merits and such. But yeah. I don't know, cuz I know I should probably be talking about like final thoughts on like the actual Geats tournament, but we should actually hold back on that because I just remembered. At the same time, I think it's a fine raised buckle overall. Like it's a pretty good final form item and such, and it still keeps up with the initiative they've been going with Rayla of trying to simplify them, but doing something like new. I like that this basically took this is I like that this is basically still like this Zero One and Saber approach of like trying to change up the driver in a drastic way and such. I appreciate that. And yeah. I literally do not know what I'm talking about, so now I have to do this review. This is Ryder, and I love you people. Bye.